Hello, everyone. It is Wednesday, and we are doing the build class. So, hi, guys. Glad you're here. Awesome to see you. Oh, this is where I get to learn how to mute. There we go. The wonderful, great thing about being in the office here is that we've got some great people who do this more often than I do. So I get to have wonderful tips from them about how to run this video. So I'm super excited to be here today. We're actually going to talk about one of the things that I struggled with the most. And it was kind of weird, but I'll give you a little bit of my story. So we all have to build a listing and we buy products. We've gone through this whole journey of starting our company and finding our products and doing the research. And now we're at the place where we've ordered our products. We've already got our suppliers. It's already on its way. And now we have to build a listing. And for some people, this can be a real wall. And for me, I don't know what it was. I think I got writer's block or something when I would come to building a listing. And so what I did when I was doing arbitrage, I would go out and buy products just so I could practice building listings. I'd buy products that weren't in Amazon yet. I'd go in and I'd build the listings. I'd watch the videos over and over and over again. And it was great. It was a lot of help and it taught me a ton, but there's still so much more to learn. And part of the new videos that they've got in the build course, which I just watched Dan's again for probably the fifth time, about how to fill out the Amazon website and where to plunk in all of your keywords and your bullets and all of that. We're not going to go over that kind of concrete stuff because you can watch the videos in the build course. But we are going to go over how do you come up with those words? How do you find what to write? How do you get competitive in this market and with your listing? Because listings, we obviously know, are super vitally important because that's what sells your product. So we're going to talk about that. Looks like you have an Amazon forest behind you. We have a super awesome, I love Texas. We moved to Texas a couple months ago to be with Just One Dime, and I love the Texas weather, but there's a bit of a storm going on outside, or at least the wind is blowing. And it's lovely here, but yes, we've got the palm tree behind me. So we're not going to see it the whole time because we're going to share my screen here an awful lot. So if you guys have questions about what we're talking about, or you have questions about building your listing or whatever you want to throw out there, we'll have some time towards the end to answer your questions. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to walk you through a bit of a process. I'm going to put on the slideshow and we're going to walk through the process just a little bit, and I'll share my screen doing different things. So let me get to the place where I get to share my screen. Hold on one sec. I'm going to pull up the slideshow. Hope you guys are having a great day. It is beautiful here, and we're super excited to be moving forward with so many things here at the office. It's been so much fun. It looks like here we go. So here's our build video. Let me share my screen. You guys are so awesome and patient. I'm obviously a little new at this, so we're gonna go forward with what I've got here. Trying to find all my little buttons again. Okay, so here we go. Hopefully you guys will be able to see my screen here. Making the guesswork. We're going to present. So there we go. So we're going to take the guesswork out of building an Amazon listing. So the first thing I want to encourage you guys with in creating your listing, because it can be a lot of fun. You can just let your inner genius out, let your inner creative spirit out. Because here's the beautiful thing about it is that you really do have an opportunity to just showcase what you're selling. So have a positive attitude about it. Don't let, like for me, I would look at that screen and think writer's block. I would have such a hard time with what do I put first? What do people want to know? How do I know what to write? So we're going to embrace that challenge. Just want to encourage you to embrace the challenge and be creative. Have some fun with this. It could be a lot of fun thinking about, well, what does my audience want to know? What, you already know because of all the research you've done, the problem that you're solving. So you want to be able to focus on that and practice. Practice makes perfect. It takes time, so keep trying. So this is what we're encouraging you to do when you're waiting for your product to come. I'm going to give you what I did or what I still do as a strategy to help me write really good listings, and just fill your time while you're waiting for your product with practicing how to write listings and work on it and run it by people and say, hey, does this phrase captivate you? And does this meet a need? And, that kind of thing. So it can be a lot of fun, and you don't have to do it alone. Throw it at your family, at your friends, have them give you some feedback. So some common questions that we often get about writing a listing is, how do I know what to write about my product? You know your product, but we don't always know what our customer wants to hear unless we've really stopped and thought about it. So this is your moment. This is your time to sit back and think about it from a customer's perspective. What would you want to know if you were buying this product? What is it that they care about? So, because you're going to want to tell a bit of a story and you're going to want to be able to captivate them. And we're going to walk through how to do that. Another question is, what keywords go where? So that is one of the biggest questions that I had when I first started, is what blanks go where? I mean, they talk about, the primary keywords and those secondary and those back end keywords. And so we're going to talk about how you find out where those go and what your competitors are doing. How interesting does it have to be? Great question. We see so many listings out there that just state the facts and they don't state anything else. But think about it from your perspective as well. How interesting is that? And does it tell you what you really want to know? When do you build your listing? So that's what we're talking about now. That's what we're encouraging you to do now while you're waiting. And we'll walk you through how to make that work. And when do you actually put your listing up on Amazon? What about pictures? Pictures is a whole nother training. So we're not going to talk a lot about how to take those great pictures, but we're going to talk about pictures in that initial listing, okay? And how do you know it's good enough? It's a great question. So the Amazon process can be really complicated, and it looks complicated at least, and it looks confusing. And what this course is trying to do and what today's workshop is trying to do is help remove some of the complications, some of the confusion, and help you move forward. So let's talk about building blocks for building a listing. So the building blocks that we want to focus on is to start by knowing the leading competitors, what their listings look like. We want to know what their listings look like. We're going to spend some time. I'm going to show you what I look for when I'm looking at a listing. And we're going to go through using Amazeowl.
Todd says you need to share your desktop so everybody can see.
Oh, I am. How funny is that? So Todd is texting me saying that you guys can't see my desktop. So let me go back out again. It looks to me like I'm sharing my desktop, but you guys get to just see me talking. So that's super awesome. Love that. All right, so let's try this again, guys. I'm showing you some great slides. That's all I can tell you. So we're going to get the pros in here. This is so fun. Present to everyone. So I've got the pros in here showing me what to do. Hi, guys. Say hi, Alan.
Hello, hello.
So what's really funny is that I'm looking at my screen, and to me, it is totally shared, and we're having a great time. We're going to go back up to there then and kind of give a little bit of a start over. So you guys are awesome. Does it look like it's supposed to look, Alan? Yes, good. We're good to go. So we're trying this again. You guys are awesome. So taking the guesswork out. Yep, I got the thumbs up from the guys out there. I love the fact that we have such a great team here that can back me up and let me know when it's not going the way I think it's going. Okay, so creating your listing can be fun. We already kind of talked about this, so we're not going to obviously go through this slide again because I've told you everything I thought you needed to know before you even got to see it. Okay, so the common questions we're going to walk through today are listed here, and we won't need to talk about those again. Okay, building blocks. Let's talk about the building blocks for building a listing. So how do you know what to write about your product? That's the first question. So start by knowing what the leading competitor's listing looks like. And then I'm going to walk you through what I do in order to understand what my competitors' listings look like. And of course, we're looking at the competitors who are top sellers. We want to know what they're doing that's helping them be so great and awesome. We also are going to be using Amazel. I'm going to walk you through some awesome things that Amazel is doing now and helping us as sellers find the best products. So we're going to do a quick assessment and document what we find. So I'm going to walk through Amazel right now with you, and hopefully, whoops, I want to go back a little bit here. Let's go down to Amazel, and I'm going to pop that up. So today we're going to look at plastic storage totes, okay? And Todd, who is my husband, who has taught several fine courses, and he always uses his plastic storage totes. So we're going to pull in what he's done. So this is Amazel, the plastic storage totes. We're going to go, let me hide these back here so you guys aren't getting all blinded by all the things in the background. The plastic storage totes, I've been watching them for a while. We've just updated them, but what I want you to look at here is going over to the competitors in reports. So again, we're looking at competitors in order to find out what is it that they're doing that we need to learn from. So in Amazel, I've got this is the one that I am watching, and then I've got my competitors, and I've got several competitors in here that I'm not going to obviously show you how to do all of them, but we're going to go through a couple of them so I can show you what I do with them. So I'm going to click on here, and this is going to take us to a wonderful place here in Amazel that is just full of great information. Let me get this out of the way and get back into Amazel. So this is, I want you to go in and click on that current state. This is just packed full of information. So it gives you obviously the link to Amazon to go look at it directly. It tells you the BSR is 267 and it's in home and kitchen. Because you do want to know what category that product your competitors are selling in. So in this particular category, a lot of the ones of my competitors are home and kitchen, although you're going to find with some products, the categories go into different places. You could be in toys, you could be in, who knows, you could be all over everywhere. They don't always stay in the same category. But right now, this one is in home and kitchen. It tells me what I already knew because I've done my research on this when I use the product evaluation, product research evaluation tool. I've kept track of these things. Here's my daily sales, my prices. This information here should not be new to you. You should have already examined this as part of determining that this is the product you want to sell. It also tells you, which I really love because this is new. I'm not familiar with this until recently in Amazel, but it gives you their SEO keywords. This is all they're put in there. This is all they've done to put in for keyword searches, which isn't very many. And Amazon allows you quite a bit more than that. It also gives you their bullet points and it gives you their description. So what we care about is we want to know their bullet points and we want to know the description that they're going with. And I'm going to show you the way that I record this information. We also want to take a peek at their photos. So do they have lifestyle photos? Do they, it doesn't say in here that, but this particular person, if we go to their Amazon, they actually have a video as well. So I usually do click through to see how they look on Amazon so I can get the full impact of their listing. But I'm going to take some information from here And I'm going to actually show you how we pop in and out and store this information. Let me go back to, and you're going to do this with each one, each of the products, each of the ones that are in your competitors list. You're going to do each one of these. So I use two different ways. That's possible to do. There is an Excel way of doing this. So I bring in my information. Here's my keywords, my BSR ranking, the category that particular one is in, the title. Titles are super important. We want to know that, the bullet points, the descriptions, and the SEO keywords. The goal of what you're doing is you want to know how all of the keywords that you researched, how are they being populated in the competitors' listings? So we can do it in Excel, or again, this is actually my preferred way. I can do it in Word. And part of the reason that I enjoy Word is that one of the steps that I'm going to show you how to do is so much easier to do the find. Let's say I'm looking for the word storage. It's going to show me everywhere the word storage is. So I can look at this listing and go, oh, hey, there's one of my keywords. They used it this many times. They use it in their title. They used it in their bullet points. They use it in their description. They use it in their SEO keywords. I want to know where the keywords are going in my competitors' listings. And we're actually going to keep track of that. Let me show you where we're going to do that at. I'm going to pop these out of the way again. So again, we're getting all of that information out of Amazel, off of the listing, and we're going to go through each of our competitors to do that. Okay? So you're just going to click through just like I did. You click on here. It'll take you to those pages. You'll pull up the information that you need. Let me go back to, if I can figure out how. Sorry, guys, my screen is filling up. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we're going to go back to the actual slideshow. So first of all, while we're looking at my face, guys, what I want to encourage you to do is it does take time to do this. It takes time to do the research. It takes time to be able to compile everything that you want to know. But the keywords that you guys are going to want to find out about are all the keywords that you have been researching and that you want to be able to actually make sure that they're in your listing and that they're doing what they need to do. So got my trusty Alan here again, and we're going to go back and share my screen with, there was slideshow. You guys are awesome. Okay. So here we go. This is what we've done. We've looked at this screen here. You can see the little, I've just cut and pasted it in here for you. This was the competitor we were looking at. This is the current state information. And basically what I've done, and I showed you, either you can do that in Word or you can do it in Excel as a spreadsheet, but I've taken the information and this is what I care about. This is my #1 competitor. This is his BSR. There's the category. Here is his title. The bullet points are listed. And his description is there. Plus, I've also discovered these are his keywords, and here's a number of pictures. And when I went to his actual Amazon listing, I discovered he had a video. And this is the kind of information you want to have, and there's a reason for that. Again, we have all of these competitors. We're going to walk through each one and do those. And again, I just want to encourage you at this point in time that you actually have time to do this. Your product is being shipped from probably China and you're waiting for it to come. So this is a great time to do that deeper dive, that next step into making sure that your listing just absolutely puts you at the top. So what do you do after compiling your competitor's listing information? You're going to use your product research evaluation tool, which you have already used. I hope you find that in the find section. And it's where you fill out, these are all of the keyword searches that I did in Amazel. Every single one of these has a selection of products that meet those keywords and show me all my different competitors. So I've taken these keywords and I have done my my search for them in my product evaluation tool. And now what I'm going to do, now that I've downloaded all of that information, my competitors' listings, I'm going to do a search, a word search. And I find it easier to do that actually in Word. So like I showed you when you do a find and it shows everybody that, every listing that had the word storage. And I'm actually going to highlight those. I'm going to find out where did they put that keyword. If my keyword I'm looking for is clear storage box, well, I found out that from my competitor's listing, I had 10 of them that put that keyword string in their title. I found 1 that put it in their bullet and 3 that put it in their description. Okay. And you could also put a note on here if you want to do their SEO. So just do an S equals however many of them put this particular keyword in their SEO keyword string, which is information you also get off of Amazel. So what I did and what I would do is take each one of these and do exactly the same thing. So like clear plastic storage totes, long tail keyword, 4 times it was in a title, 7 times it was in bullets, 1 time it was in a description. So what this helps you to do is it helps you to know how to move forward. So when you're all done and you compiled all the information, you're going to find out that this particular set of keywords and which ones were used in their titles, which ones, and these are your #1 competitors. So titles are super, super important. And if I have clear storage box mixed with clear plastic storage boxes, or let's say plastic storage totes, those 2 keyword strings had the majority of them on the best sellers was in their title. Then I will know when I write my listing that I'm going to put that in my title. Does that make sense? Hope that you understand what I'm saying there, because all of these keywords have potential to be impactful if they apply to yours. Like you may not have an ornament storage box or a Christmas ornament storage box, but what you do want to know when you did, these are just words we did in our research, helping us find what product do we really want to sell and how do we want to market it? What target audience are we going for? So let's say maybe you have a clear plastic storage box and it has the ability to hold ornaments. But ornament storage boxes, when you've watched how the BSR rates and their sales go, that they're just super popular like right before Christmas or maybe right after Christmas. And so you don't want to use that necessarily as your primary keyword if your clear plastic storage boxes can accommodate other uses. That makes any sense. But you might want to update by putting in 1 or 2 words, not a huge change, just 1 or 2 words into your title or into a bullet so that those keywords can then be used to pull it up, or perhaps they're in your SEO keywords so that when somebody is looking for it, they can find your product. So that's where you want to know where do you put your words and how do you make them work the best. Okay, so how interesting does it have to be? Well, you want your listing to be interesting. You don't want it to be boring. You want it to draw people in. You want it to have, you want there to be a reason for, your competitors have a great reason for their sales, but you can do better. You can do so much better than your competitors. And this again goes back to the power of the product evaluation tool, because you're not only discovering, like the first part we did was you're discovering your keywords and where do you place them in your listing. But let's say you're writing your bullet points or you're writing your title and you have discovered, and this isn't the ones that has to do with my totes, they are actually the sample that's out of the program that Seth made with flying oranges and barbecue grow lights. But what I want to show you here is how you can use these negatives, flip them, because you already know that you have differentiated your product by removing the negatives. So why not make the most of that positive? Now that negative is a positive. So make sure that you put in your bullet points Well, that your plastic tubs, the handles don't fall off. Okay, you have sturdy handles that stay attached. So you're going to pull out the positive that you made in response to all of the negatives that you have addressed in your product. So even though we primarily use this part of the product evaluation tool to help us know how to differentiate our product, we're also going to use it to help us to know how to market our product and build our bullets and write our titles. Okay, so your listing must captivate your audience immediately. You have a matter of seconds to have that person be drawn in to go, wait a second, this might meet my need or my problem. Because remember, you are fixing their problem. You are meeting their need. Even if they don't know they have one, maybe they discover or you'll bring to light something inside of them when they read your bullets and they think, wow, that's right, I do struggle with this, right? I have some totes and the handles fall off too easily. Well, this one doesn't. So you're going to want to kind of use those kind of story words of how it meets their need or how it fixes a problem when you're writing out your listing. And you want to create a positive emotional response. You want to have them light up and go, oh yeah, that's right, I do need that. Or yeah, that does fix a problem. Or that's pretty cool. That's an awesome feature of this. You want to create some kind of a positive emotional response from them. You want to give them just enough information in the bullets and then more detail in the description. And we're going to take a little bit of a look here at the one that's here because you can do better than your competitors. This is my primary competitor for that particular product, a storage box. You can see here that they do start off with their brand name, which is what we want you to do, but then they also put in numbers, letters that I don't understand what they mean. Doesn't tell me a whole lot. Maybe it's their product, number, but it doesn't really do anything for me as a consumer. And then I've got my keywords, my stackable clear storage box. It's a 6-pack, 12-quart stack and pull. So, okay, all right. So then we have down here, they've got multiple sizes. Looks like several of them are sold out, but they do have multiples, and they have a 6-pack with options of others. But their bullets are, you can't see them probably very well, but they're very to the point, just the facts, and they move on. And of course, they've got 6, 7 videos or pictures in a video. So this is definitely a brand. You have to have a registered brand to get some of these benefits like a video. Okay, so let's talk about when do you build your listing? Simple, you build it as soon as possible. There's some really great reasons, and Seth talks about them in the course, about why you want to build your listing sooner than later. If you're waiting for your product to come, it's a good time. It's a good time to start building your listing. And then you can really even more understand your competitors and saturate your thinking about what is it? What is your target audience? And who are you going to, how are you going to captivate them with yours? So you want to do this early so that if there's any warnings from Amazon that need to be discovered, they're going to be discovered because you're going to make your listing. It's going to be in Amazon. It doesn't mean it goes active because you have no product in it, but you will have your listing made in Amazon, and it will let you know if there's any hazmat or if there's any category issues, or there's a lot of things that could come up that Amazon could come back on you on and let you know, hey, we're not going to let you list this right now until you give us this information. And that's really important. You want to have the time to do that. It also gives you the opportunity to see what your listing will look like before it goes live. And then you can keep tweaking it and making changes and make it the best that you can possibly be. Okay, so let's talk about pictures. A lot of times people don't have their final product pictures. You might have your sample product pictures, which is great. Use that. If you don't have all of your beautiful professional pictures done of your real product pictures, that's okay. You can still make your listing. You do have to put a picture in. So I have a placeholder picture. I use this process quite a bit when I was making listings that I was waiting for products to come from our suppliers. I would put in a placeholder picture. And even if it was a picture of my sample product, It was just a picture. It wasn't a professional picture. It didn't look awesome. There are some things that you can do to kind of make you feel better about your picture, but really it's just a placeholder picture because you're going to replace it and you're going to put in beautiful pictures before you actually launch. You're going to fully optimize that area of your listing prior to launching, but put some sample pictures in there. Okay, so while you're waiting for your product to come, or you're waiting for that one piece of your product to come that's going to be the one you use to make all of your pictures, your lifestyle pictures, your beautiful product pictures, your use pictures, have that photographer lined up and ready to go. Hey, Seth just walked into the room.
Keep going. Let me distract you. I'm gonna say hey.
That's really hard to do.
Hey guys.
Hey, so this is actually my last slide.
Oh, okay.
But
Nice.
would you like to pop in?
No, I just wanted to say hi.
Okay.
I gotta go get stuff done, but
Okay,
Good job.
thank you.
Yeah.
All right. All right, so what do you do with all this information when you're done? That is a great question because this is the funnest part. So you've gone back and you've looked at all of the information. You've done your Excel spreadsheet or your Word document, and you have tagged where all your keywords are. You know if they're in list or in the title, you know if they're in the body, you know if they're in the SEOs, you know if they're in their description, you know where they belong. So now how do you write it? So the reason I picked this particular one, this is a competitor, and at some point this is a competitor, and I really like some components of their listing. So they've started with their brand name, which is what Amazon likes you to do if you're a registered brand. They have taken their primary keywords that they discovered were necessary to pull in their audience. And they put them in here in kind of a story format. So they've got Sorbus storage bin boxes, foldable stackable container, organizer, basket set with large clear windows and carrying handles for bedding, linen, clothes. So it's a window storage bag, 2-pack gray. So they've pulled you in just a little bit, giving you an idea of how it can be used, what does it look like, how many there are, what color it is. So they've got a lot of information just in their title. For me as a consumer, I really enjoy the way that they've done their bullets, because when you started off with the large storage organizer box set, when you start off with the capital letters, it allows me as a consumer to determine how much time I have to read the rest of what they have to say, and if I even need to. So I can go through here as a consumer and I can look at these large print bullets and go, okay, so I think this might meet my need. And then I'll go back and go, okay, tell me more about what a large storage organizer box set 2-pack light gray. So it stores and protects clothing and household items with box style container bins. So it tells me a little bit more about how it does this bullet point. So when you're writing your bullet points, if you use this style of bullet point for one thing, and you put those large letters at the beginning and you kind of grab their attention, just know that what you put afterwards should complement the capital letters that you're using. So easy access and clutter-free storage. Great. Who doesn't want that? Solved a problem right there. It's easy to get to. It's clutter-free storage. Awesome. So front end then tells me how it does it. Okay, so front and top zipper openings. I'm like, wow, that's cool. I can see that in the picture. And it makes it easy to store and remove contents. So it's telling me how it's going to improve my life. You see what the writer of this is doing? It's doing a really good job drawing me in and telling me, oh, wait a second. I do need to make this easy. I can get it from the top or the front. I stack them on top of each other. I don't want to have to take everything, unstack everything in order to get something out of this bin. Well, I can just unzip the front. What a great idea. You know, it's that kind of a thing. And the multiple purposes for it, you can use it, and they've got a listing there for bedding or clothes or shoes. They even put decorations in here, holiday decorations. So you see how we're talking about how they threw in words that may not necessarily be their primary audience, but they want to captivate the searches for somebody who wants an ornament organizer. So they've got their holiday decorations in there. They've got So anyways, you can kind of see what they did. Take a peek at what your competitors have done. And that first listing that I showed you that had just the matter-of-fact bullet points, that listing, actually, that competitor is the BSR of 267 or what it was. It was the closest BSR. And they just got to the point, but there was nothing about that listing that I went, wow, this goes above and beyond what I actually know I need. You know, I can get this bin at Walmart. And that bin actually had quite a few problems with it, with complaints. So this one had next to hardly any complaints at all about it. So that was pretty awesome. But you want to get to yours to where, hey, these people really do care. And I didn't actually pull this one up. I didn't make a picture of it. But when you continue to scroll through this person, you're going to find that they also have a video. They have a beautiful, down below when they're talking about their description area, they've got more pictures. They've got, and what you do down in that area, you have to be branded for to get videos and to get the expanded description space. You have to be a branded, recognized branded Amazon. But when you do, you can throw in more videos. You can answer more of the details and make it look more like an ad, and like you would see online or on your website or even in print. It's a great way to do that. So let me go back to seeing if you all have any questions. Okay. Wow, this one looks like it's frozen. Let me see if I can pop back into where we actually are. Stop sharing my screen. Okay. All right, let's see if we have any questions. Saw a listing on Amazon that lists 4 UPCs and 1 UPC filled. I went to buy the product and flip. eBay asked for UPC numbers. I'm not sure what to put the 4 UPCs. 4 UPCs is like serious overkill. Wow. I'm not sure exactly how that happens. I know that, well, okay, this is the only thing I can think of. If there are variations, every variation has to have their own UPC code. So perhaps what they're dealing with is multiple variations, and they've got their one primary product with that one primary UPC code, but each of the other products underneath also has their UPC code. So I don't know if I answered your question. I think it's weird. I've never seen, honestly, I've never seen an Amazon where they list 4 UPC codes and 1 UPC failed. So I'm sorry I can't help you with that one, but if somebody knows the answer to that one, pop it in there. That would be great. So I say hi to Alan. He's awesome. How many keywords can I use to build my title? So what you want to do, you don't want to clump it so full. Now, I know Amazon is changing some of their dynamics and how many characters you can put in there for your title, and you're going to have to watch that. I know there are some that I've gone up to, like a lot. I've used a lot. Like that one we just saw had like 3 lines of characters. But I know that they're also coming down to where they're only allowing 80. They're encouraging people. Amazon is really encouraging that you can make your title as concise as possible. So you're going to want to use your most powerful keywords in that title. So when you've done your keyword, obviously you've got your keyword search, but when you've done what we've just talked about and you've vetted your competitors and you've written out where do they put their keywords, their top competitors. So if my keyword that I researched was clear plastic storage bins or clear storage bins, but I find that only like 3 out of the 10 actually have that in their title, then that's going to let me know that even though that's my primary keyword search that I did through Amazel and that I documented in my product research tool, it's going to tell me that maybe that's not my best choice. Maybe I need to go down to clear plastic storage totes because it had more people using it in their titles as bestsellers. Does that make sense? So I hope that helps. Maybe I can list the first UPC listed there. Absolutely. So when you're taking something from Amazon and you're wanting to resell it, it sounds like, on eBay. What eBay requires and what Amazon requires, they both require UPC codes. So take the UPC code that you've got. It depends. So there's two different kinds of UPC codes in my understanding. So this is my understanding, but I've done both. So we have what's called GS1 UPC codes that we have paid for and they're ours. They're a lot more expensive. They're committed to only our products. Nobody else can use them. Nobody else has them. They're ones that come from GS1 as registered and assigned to us as a company. Then there are the ones that I bought when I practiced writing listings and I went out and did arbitrage. For example, when JCPenney was closing down its stores, I went there and got a ton, literally hundreds and hundreds of products. And I discovered that JCPenney's had their own UPC type of marking their products. They literally did not have a standard UPC code. So all of those products, even though I may have only had maybe 2 or 4 or 10 of one product, I had hundreds of them. I had a ton of variety. And I did not want to use my super expensive, only given to me GS1 codes for that type of product because I never planned to sell them again. So I literally went to eBay, which at the time was something that we had talked about in this community to go get your codes from eBay. So I went there and I bought 1,000 codes for, I don't know, $20 or something. It was really cheap. And I used those codes on those products. They were generic. Who knows where they came from? I went back 6 months later and tried to use some of the remaining ones, and they weren't available anymore. They were already assigned to a product on Amazon that was not mine. So those are not, when you get them purchased like that, when you go to eBay and you purchase those bulk UPC codes just to use for what I called temporary throwaway products because they were just arbitrage, they weren't my private label. Those ones, absolutely. You could go for that. So I would suggest that is something you might want to look at and as an option if it's not your private label product. If you're just selling somebody else's and it's got a UPC code on it or it doesn't have a UPC code on it, go ahead and buy one from on eBay that is a temporary type of a UPC code. So let's see, any more questions? See if I missed any up above. So you guys have been great. Thank you for being here. I hope this helps. If you have any questions later, I'm going to go ahead and post this in Facebook, and we will answer questions as they come in. And it was just really great to share the information with you today. I hope you found it helpful. You guys have an amazing rest of your week, and we'll see you on the other side.